morning, colleagues. Let's start with our meeting. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, honorable members, leadership of Northern Cape Urban TVET, the student leadership, the workers, DDG of TVET branch, all officials from the department, Auditor General, led by Ms. Shai, and the team that audited Northern Cape Urban TVET, staff from Parliament. Today we are receiving a BRRR report, the annual report of Northern Cape Urban TVET College, based on their annual report and the audit outcome of the institution. So we've invited the institution leadership, the council chair, the acting principal, student leadership, the workers, to come and present to us their issues. We had sent them a letter indicating that we expect them to respond to certain issues. I must say from the onset that we struggled to get the presentation from the institution. We struggled to get the presentation from the institution. Even yesterday when we were in a meeting, we still exchanged emails with them to tell them we had sent them a framework on what is it that we expect them to respond to. And then we even informed the DDG to assist us in getting that. Welcome NSFAS. NSFAS team is also here, just in case we get questions that they need to respond to. So before we start with their presentation from the institution, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Tebogo Litsie. I'm the Portfolio Committee member on Higher Education and Training, given the responsibility to chair this committee. Honorable Low, if you start. Honorable Low is from the Northern Cape, so he probably knows some of the challenges that the college has. So when you present, you must also bear that in mind, that it's from the Northern Cape. He probably knows even all your campuses. Honorable Low.
No, thanks, Chair. My name is Lugan Notsepolo. I am a member of this committee.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Let me also pass my greetings to everybody in this room. My name is Khaulatli, the surname is Khabo, and I'm also a member of this committee. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Desiree van der Walt. I'm a member of this committee.
Good morning, Chair, and everybody who's inside here. My name is Mandla Shikwambana. I'm a member of this committee deployed by the EFF.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair. My name is Matlodi Maseko, and I'm also the member of this committee.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, DDG. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Mampako Modiba. I'm the Committee Content Advisor.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Good morning, everybody. I'm Agnetha Orenser, the researcher for this committee.
Morning, Chair and everyone. Lungisa Sishu from NSFAS.
Good morning, all. Esmeralda Engelbrecht from NSFAS.
Morning, Hlalo. Nabantu bakhoye, igama nguSiyabonga Ngibi from the PMG group. Thank you. Good morning, Chair. My name is Kabelo Makitla from the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, DDG. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Kabu Majani. I'm the Chief Director in the Office of the DG.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, honorable members, and all the other colleagues that are here. My name is William Ndlovu, and I'm representing the Labour Collective from the Northern Cape Urban TVET.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, and good morning, colleagues. My name is Nana Shai from the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Kanya Boy from the Northern Cape BU.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Sphelele Ntuli from the TVET branch.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and members. Good morning to the Chair and colleagues. My name is Begi Mlambo, Chief Director Infrastructure at DSUT.
Good morning. Good morning to the House at large. My name is Robin Adams and I'm the Secretary General of the Northern Cape Urban TVET.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, DDG and the House. My name is Sean Lavan and I am the President of Northern Cape Urban TVET.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, colleagues. My name is David Mohlame, Parliamentary Liaison Officer in the Office of the DG. Thank you.
Mo dula stilo madume le botle ba ba lefano nna ke kgaje Boston Lecholo ke tswa ko Northern Cape Urban TVET College ke leboga.
You are what there?
I'm the campus manager.
Which campus?
More Mogolo.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Morning, the DDG members and colleagues. I'm Brian Matalani, the Acting Regional Manager, Northern and Western Cape.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members and esteemed colleagues. My name is Sam Zungu, DDG for TVET Colleges.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, DDG and honorable members and colleagues. My name is Eldrin Mokokong. I'm the Deputy Principal for Innovation and Development for the college, but I'm currently the Acting Principal for Northern Cape Urban TVET College. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. My name is Buipelo Lejoko, the Assistant Director, Supply Chain Management, and currently acting as the Deputy Principal Finance.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Mafafulu Radile, Assistant Director Academics, and currently acting as Deputy Principal Academics, Northern Cape Urban TVET College.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members. DDG, good morning. I'm Junita Bucas. I'm the interim chairperson of the Northern Cape Urban TVET College. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Please switch off the mic. Thank you very much, colleagues. Now that we know who's here, we're now going to start with our work today. I think Regional Manager DDG, there seems to exist a problem at Northern Cape Urban TVET, simply because the entire leadership of the institution is on acting basis. We have acting deputy principals, finance academics are acting. You have acting principal. You have an interim chair of council. Maybe when you lead the presentation, DDG, indicate to us why do we have a Hollywood arrangement in that institution where we have everybody acting in such senior management posts? And how long have they been acting for? They, will expect them to also tell us what are the plans we did on the format that we have given them. We gave them an opportunity to present to us about plans to fill up posts. But it might, I think, on your overview, it might depend on, it might need you as the department to lead us on that part, because I know certain positions are appointed at your level and not necessarily at an institution level. Maybe you must tell us how long have they been acting for, what is the problem, why do we have a Hollywood arrangement there, and who's responsible for filling those posts, and why have they not done so? Members, like I said earlier on, we struggled to get presentations from the institution. They sent it yesterday afternoon, the one that they are going to present today. But the one that I had sent earlier, the DDG, they had indicated on the email that they've sent it to the department for approval, and the department, they thought the department will send to us. They did not send to us. But when it came to us, it was a 4-pager, 5-pager that did not respond to many things that would ask them to respond to or to address in the presentation. And we sent it back, informed them that we're not happy with that kind of presentation. But we're also not happy with us sending deadlines. Because you see, these members must go through these presentations, prepare, do their own research, prepare their own questions. So if you send it to us in the afternoon a day before, literally about 16 hours, 18 hours before the presentation is to be made, we are making our job very difficult. This is not a tick box exercise for us. We have a responsibility. We want TVET colleges that works. We want TVET colleges that will assist in rebuilding the economy of this country by responding to the skills needs, the country needs. We want to see, I saw in one of the slides, the presentation seeks to address the issue of partnerships that we must have with industry. That is what we want to see. We want to see a TVET college that produces the best artisans we can produce, the best learners we can produce to respond to the economic needs of this country. So these members, when we ask you to send presentation on time, we want to afford them an ample opportunity for them to interrogate this kind of things. And in fact, the students submitted on deadline. The SRC submitted on time. And we did not directly send the request for them. We send it to the institution, and we tell the institution, inform the students, inform labor. They send it to us on time. And the college did not, which seeks to suggest that acting principal, we have a problem. We have a problem in the institution, because it's either the institution does not want to do what they're supposed to be doing, or there's just not capacity internal. Maybe the staff there is so constrained, overwhelmed, because if they are acting, they still have their substantive jobs, probably to also do. We don't know. We'll hear from the presentations. We've also received DG that when Auditor General was auditing there was just so much resistance from the college to respond to certain things. You know, Auditor General comes, makes an appointment to come and audit. They get there, they do not get the information that they need. They write back to you and say, we need X, Y, and Z. The college just does not respond on time. So there seems to exist some attitude problem at an institution. You know, to say they are probably the alphas and omega there, no one will touch them. And that cannot be tolerated. It will not be tolerated by this portfolio committee. It will not be tolerated by by Parliament. And if the department is unable to honestly do what it must with, you know, making sure that these TVET colleges, I know DDG, you just came back from Germany this week because you are representing the department doing a study tour on how some of the TVET colleges work there. And if you look at, we are far off. I mean, the best engineers that these German machines use comes from TVET colleges. Something that we ought or we want to emulate. If you go to China, the best software engineers, the best electronic, the best engineers general, they come from the TVET college sections of that institution. And when you come to our space here, it's as if it's a comedy show. We're not going to tolerate that behavior. I don't know what's wrong. I think because, you know, we're dealing with Northern Cape Urban College, I also want to speak Afrikaans, you know. But DDG, it's 9:19 now. I'm going to give you to lead the discussion or the presentation from your office, and then we'll give that. Unfortunately, represent in Parliament, we have time constraints, so we're going to, when you start your presentation, I'm going to tell you how long you have. DDG, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and greetings to you and to the honorable members. And appreciate the opportunity that we've been provided to appear before this esteemed committee. Indeed, Honorable Chair, we would want to start by tendering our apology for the late submission by the college. I think they will also, through their chairperson, who's leading the delegation, also maybe give an explanation of the late submission of the presentation that was required by the portfolio committee.
Just raise your voice, DDG. I'm not sure if we can hear you. Remember, we're recording this session.
I'll have to come closer, Chair, because of my throat is not that good this morning, Chair.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because of your soft voice.
No. It's not because of that, Chair. No, thank you very much. Let me also respond to the issue that we have raised. Firstly, on the filling of vacancies, as you coined it as a Hollywood. Indeed, it will be also form part of our written responses to the portfolio committee, because the vacancies are filled from the head office. We have crafted the HR and recruitment plan to fill the vacancies within the TVET colleges across. That will also include Northern Cape Rural TVET College. So we'll make that submission. At this point in time, we are waiting for the DPSA for the approval of some of the posts, which will then be advertised soon on the public newspapers as well as DPSA circulars. So we've had situations because the acting had to be rotated. Some have been acting for 3 months, others perhaps about 6 months. But it also relates to the fact that the principal is currently the acting regional manager for Northern Cape and Western Cape. And that's why you see that it has the ripple effect from there going down. We will also be engaging the college on the failure to respond to the Auditor General's request for information. We have a team that comes from our Chief Directorate for Financial Planning that has been engaging colleges and focusing mainly on those that have regressed or have had underperformed in terms of their audit outcomes. So we will be addressing that, Chair. But overall, in terms of the performance of the colleges, we have noticed, if I may focus on the Northern Cape, that in terms of their outcomes, yes, there's been progress in terms of their financial governance. However, we have noted the Auditor General's concerns regarding the procurement processes, especially with regards to the payments for quotations that indicated some fraudulent activities within there. This matter has since been referred to the Directorate for Priority Crime and Investigation. But the overall performance share of TVET colleges audit outcomes for 2023, I think we had a mixed outcomes that actually necessitate some kind of a targeted strategies for sustaining the improvement. We have noted the regressions in the Eastern Cape, some few colleges there, including Buffalo City as well as the Eastern Cape Midlands, which have regressed from unqualified audit opinions with emphasis of matter to qualified audit opinions. We had several colleges as well in the same region, Ikala, Ingwe, and others, that has maintained the unqualified audit opinions that reflects stately evaluations. Few colleges improved from qualified audit opinions to unqualified, demonstrating effective corrective actions that has been made by those colleges. Honourable Chair, honourable members, while there are glimpses of improvements in audit results, the department has also put together some strategies to address these challenges in terms of improving the audit outcomes across the TVET colleges. And these include, amongst others, Chair, the strengthening of the internal controls. However, Chair, we must also put in record that indeed we are also challenged in terms of the capacity within the TVET colleges. In one of the sessions, the Chair made reference to the program that we had with SICA, and when that program came to an end, some of the colleges regressed, others maybe improved. The issue of the capacity, Chair, relates to the fact that few, if maybe none of the colleges have qualified chartered accountants. Hence, you will also notice that the preparation of the financial statements will then be outsourced to service providers so that they can then prepare the financial statements. And some of them, Auditor General will then note that they do not meet the standards simply because we don't have that capacity. We compete with the private sector in terms of securing those kind of skills. And unfortunately, with the kind of the conditions of service that we offer within government, will not be able to match those conditions of service that you find within the private sector. So that's one of the challenges that we have, Chair, in this regard. However, we have also enhanced the accountability mechanisms, ensuring that submissions and responsiveness to audit findings is also adhered to. And we have noted what has happened at the Northern Cape Urban College. There's also regular monitoring and evaluation, Chair, from our Chief Directorate responsible for this. that we have also enhanced. As we speak, the team has visited a few of the colleges that have as poor audit outcomes as we speak. But Chair, the other area that we also looking at is to dedicate part of the what is called the SIEGE allocation, CAIG, funding towards building the ICT infrastructure within the TVET colleges, because one of the challenges that AG would have noted is around the issue of poor record keeping. That also emanate from the systems that the colleges have. And as a result, you'll find that the records, when they are required to report, they are not there to be found. In closing, Chair, whilst we have challenges that remain, our dedication to improving financial governance, transparency and accountability positions of colleges as a pivotal institutions in driving socio-economic growth through quality education and skills development remains. We are committed, Chair. We are partnering with some of the entities within the department, like the two-seaters, that will also be assisting us in building that capacity so that we can improve in this regard. On that note, Chair, thank you so much, and we'll then, with your permission, hand over to the principal to lead the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DDG. I had forgotten to note apologies. We have a few apologies. We have an apology from Dr. Kondwe, Deputy Minister. We have an apology from the Minister. We have an apology from Butimana Mela DM. We have an apology from the DG. We have an apology from members who are on official oversight visit with other committees. Honorable Sihlengubane, Honorable Ngobi Msezana, Honorable Stacy Khojane. We have an apology of Honorable Khachau, who's not feeling well. We have an apology of Honorable Zondo, standing apology. We have an apology of Honorable Governor, who's also not feeling well. That's all. So those are the apologies. From the ministry, it's because they could not change the appointments that they had already planned prior to us. So from the opening, just want to get clarity at DG. The regional manager with us today is the principal of the college.
The regional manager or acting regional manager, Chair, is the principal of Northern Cape Urban College. Yes.
No, thank you very much. I just wanted to get clarity so that at least he can assist us with some of the issues that we may have, members may raise. Acting principal, it's 9:30. You have 20 minutes till 10 to 9. Oh, sorry, chairperson. Sorry, chairperson of the council, or standing in chair of the council. We are going to give you also to lead the presentation. You can do your opening remarks and then hand it over to the acting principal.
Good morning, Chairperson and the honorable members. Acknowledge good morning, TDG, and the rest of the people here. Chairperson, let me start off by profoundly apologize. But I actually wanted them to apologize for themselves for this favor that the Honorable Parliament faced with the not responding in time. Chairperson, I feel also And I said to them yesterday, the portfolio committee, you can't go around the bush. We need to be honest and straight to the point. Chairperson, to be honest, I'm sitting with a letter invitation received from you that I only received the day before yesterday on the 8th. And that might lead to the presentation being changed because this letter was floating somewhere. I don't know what happened, but it never reached me because it was not sent to my personal address. And that might lead that there was a change, forced change to the presentation because they needed to respond to what Parliament require from them to do. And I again said, I profoundly apologize for that error that slipped in. And it is with great appreciation sitting here that we could come to the Honourable Committee and come and give report and be accountable for developments at the Northern Cape Urban TVET College. Chairperson, I must say, I am from the previous council, leading the previous council. So it is a continuation. But of record, I'm still an interim for this term, interim till the council is fully constituted. I would also like to then take this opportunity to thank the minister and the deputies and the DG and DDG's office for appointing the interim council members. We try by all means to be of support towards the college in a strategic oversight role, but not to go there and micromanage the college. That I don't believe in that one. So be given strategic oversight, guide them and support them where needed. So I must say, Honourable Chairperson, as you refer to them, the Hollywood, me included, but they try their best. And as I think, and I'm happy to hear DDG did allude to the fact that there is progress in the college. I must also say, Chairperson, it needs to be noted that the executive management is a relatively new members. They only appointed the principal in, I started there 2018, he was appointed as the principal of the college. And everything was new. When the council came on board, we needed to come and put systems in place. So I must say to you, Chairperson, there is some progress at the college, but there's still a lot of hurdles that we need to breach because due to these interacting structures that we are facing with. The committee also noted, Chairperson, that because it is such a relatively young executive committee that is leading that institution, but they really do have the expertise, the competencies, the qualifications, but maybe just get that support to push them a little bit. On this note, Honourable Chairperson, I would like once again to thank you and your team for allowing us, and I want them to take whatever come out here today with grace. And Chairperson, when needed, they will have to go back and go and respond properly and submit if they can't give the adequate responses today. I'm pleading with you. But thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Back to you.
Acting Principal, it's 9:36, you have 20 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson and honorable members, DDG and the regional manager, I once more humbly would like to apologize for the inconvenience due to our late submission. I don't want to repeat what the chairperson has said. Clearly, there was a communication breakdown because some of the emails went to the previous PA of the principal who has already exited the institution. And I think the confusion also came about because we've received two letters. The one was for us to report on the annual report, and then the long one came, but we truly apologize, Chairperson, and we guarantee you that it will never happen again. It's really not a sign of disrespect. Chairperson, just to also correct, in terms of the executive management, there's only one vacant post, which is the one for the Deputy Principal Finance. We do have a Deputy Principal for Academics, and we do have a Deputy Principal Corporate Services, and then we have the Innovation, which is myself. The Deputy Principal Finance post was vacated by the CFO 2 to 3 weeks ago. He's currently based at one of the TVET colleges in Cape Town. And then the one for the academic manager, she just recently lost her husband, and then after that, she was not well. I then took over the acting from her, of the acting principal. So that is what my submission, which I wanted to render on the Holyhood issue regarding the executive management. There's only one post that is vacant, but currently all those other posts are filled.
Is it not open already?
Okay. The annual report presentation to the portfolio committee for Northern Cape Urban TVET College. My presentation is going to cover or to give an overview on the following. It's going to give a report on performance, highlights on key achievements, and also areas of performance of auditing and the improvement plans which the college has come up with or implemented. The college is governed by the following legislations, which is the Constitution, Education and Training City Act, the National Qualification Framework and Higher Education, Skills Development Act, and all other relevant acts. I'm not going to read all the acts since the chairperson has given us time frames. With regards to targets achieved and not achieved, usually as an institution, when we have our strategic plans, we set targets for ourselves in terms of student registration numbers for the different programs. Some of the targets the college has achieved, and some of the targets was not achieved by the college due to several reasons. Targets achieved, as you can see, short courses skills program, we targeted 390 and we have registered 468 students. The target was achieved. NCV level 4, 63, 130 was registered. Throughput rate was, the target was 8% and we have achieved 19%. Retention rate, the target was 90% and we have achieved 100%. Progression, 80% and we have achieved 100%. Signed partnership and linkages for placement of students. The target was 20 and we have achieved 40. Compliance with examination policy The target was 100% and we have achieved 100%. Compliance with governance, the target was 100% and 100% was achieved. Compliance with examination policies and implementation thereof 100%, and our achievement was 100%. The following is the targets which the college has not received, colleagues. It was for NCV. The target was 1,444, and then the college managed to register 1,042. The course route for that particular program, when we did our analysis, was because of the phased out of 2 programs equivalent to NCV, and also many applications did not meet the requirements of the programs due to lack of maths and accounting. PLP, the target was 140, and the college registered 42. Report 199, the target was 6,149. The college managed to register 5,370. The course route was also phased out of the following programs: human resource, management assistant, NSFAS beneficiaries who failed a subject or caring subjects that is not in a position to pay for themselves. Many applicants could not meet the requirements of programs due to also the maths and the accounting, and also the late release of matric results. Occupational qualification, we targeted 800 and we achieved 656. And the course route was, the root cause of the problem was low awareness of occupational programs and the socio-economic importance. What we have, when we have engaged with students or communities, we've realized that our communities and students are also still not aware of occupational programs offered at the TVET colleges and also the importance thereof in terms of the contribution of those qualifications in terms of our socio-economic growth. NPF level 5 and 6, our target was 20. We achieved 15. It's also low awareness of the programs and maths and accounting. Registered students retained and writing exams. The target was 75% and we achieved 60. Due to the root cause is high dropout rate and non-qualifications for exam. That is now when the marks which the students have received is not enough or does not qualify them to write exams. Lecturers placed in industry, our target was 20, of which we couldn't place any lecturer. It was, we achieved 0. One of the course route problems, especially in the Northern Cape, in the rural areas, is due to the limited workplaces that we have. Student enrolled in occupational programs in high demand, we targeted 800 and we achieved 267. Is also low awareness of occupational programs. And then students involved in entrepreneurship, we targeted 50, we achieved 48. Also low awareness with regards to entrepreneurship, hence the college has come up also with interventions on how to grow and encourage students to participate in entrepreneurships. Student place NCV level 4, we targeted 80 and achieved was 0 due to limited workplaces in the Northern Cape. And the lecturer placed in industry, like we've said, it was 20, but we couldn't place any lecturers. The improvement plan which we have come up as an institution to assist us in addressing those challenges with regards to the targets for registration, we are busy introducing QCTO programs at level 3, and also we are placing students within businesses of college produce entrepreneurs, because we've just picked up that there's a lot of students that have exited the institution that are currently involved or having their own businesses, and we also place now our students with those institutions. We are reaching out to industry in other provinces also. We are not focusing on mainly the Northern Cape, so that we can place students closer to the homes or their homes or residence where they come from, their towns where they come from. We have introduced occupational programs from level 4 and increased teaching and learning support to decrease high failure rate. Awareness on occupational programs, and also we have vigorous marketing where our marketing team with SSS, with the support of other admin staff members, are going out to rural areas within the Northern Cape and different towns with the necessary resources. That is what we did currently with the current registration period. We then went with our own data and computers so that the administration staff can assist the people that does not have the resources to do the registration online, to assist them with it. That actually was a positive because they came back with numbers. Increase awareness, that was now for this year. Increase awareness of vigorous marketing and also hosting of entrepreneurship days. Readiness for the academic year for 2025. As an institution, we have identified our new PQM, which is our new programs that we are going to phase in, or we have decided on programs which we are going to offer as an institution. We have done our strategic plan for 2025. Our APPs is also developed. We reviewed the admission policy so that we can look into the percentage for maths and accounting and see how best can we maybe accommodate those students that are not meeting the necessary admission requirements. Vigorous marketing has been conducted, like I've said in the previous slide. Online applications are open and we've requested for extension up until the 30th of November. Consideration of applications is in process. We're setting up of assessments is also in progress. Training of capturers so that they are competent and also be in a position to assist more students in a shorter space in terms of their capturing. Analysis on classroom and also resources is conducted so that exactly we know in terms of resources how many students can we accommodate, because also the resources is having an impact on the number of students that we can accommodate, especially with the workshops where you find maybe you need to have a ratio of 15 to 1 facilitator, or the machinery and equipment is not enough to accommodate more than 15 students, depending on how many machineries you have in that particular workshop. Registration layout for walk-ins is also arranged, and also computer rooms are ready for assistance of NSFAS for new applicants. Infrastructure overview. Like DDJ has mentioned, that the college, we managed to affect the following developments across campuses with the CIEG grant funds that we've received and also others from the college coffers. We were able to install a still water tanks at Patimang. It's completed. At City Campus also a water tank. Computer labs and installation of computers, that was completed in 2023, and the others are still ongoing. Computer labs renovations, the old ones we are trying to renovate them. Pavement at City Campus, that was done in 2023. Generators at all campuses also, because that was a finding for exams in the past. Minor renovations for City Campus is completed. Solar panel installation for all campuses, that is also completed. Currently at Moremogolo we are busy with the entrance, which is in progress. There is a delay on that on that project currently, due to the service provider having problems. The service provider approached the college saying that he has underquoted, and but we had a sit down with the service provider and the QS, and the project has kicked off again. Moremogolo still water tank, like I've said, is also now a delay at Moremogolo. That one is not completed at Moremogolo because as and when the providers were busy with the installing and the digging, they picked up the day's asbestos pipes within the institution. So they first need to remove, an analysis need to be conducted so that they can check what impact is this going to have on lives, and also to advise how to remove those pipes of which they are busy with now. Hence the delay on the water tank. The computer labs at Moremogolo installation is also still in progress, and the computer labs installation at City Campus is still in progress, the others. Infrastructure renovations, or we've just currently also established a new hairdressing workshop due to the demand, because we have an increase of student numbers on that particular program. So now that one is also completed. We have a second workshop for hairdressing at City Campus. Erection of nail and beauty mobile classes and workshops. Chairperson, as an institution in terms of infrastructure, our campuses are saturated. You can't do any extensions or add anything. So, but we just took the initiative to set up mobile classes so that we can set up other workshops for new programs that we want to introduce. The refurbishment of the hub. On my appointment, we then started to renovate. It was an old house for a factotum, and now we are turning it into an innovation hub where we are going to incubate students and assist students with potential businesses so that we can mentor and guide and also support those students for at least for a time frame of 12 to 18 months, so that at least when the students are getting out of the incubation, they shall have accumulated funds so that they have cash flow to run with their businesses. Our student performance. The college student performance or certification rate for N6, we have achieved 44%. For NCV, we have achieved 60%. For learnerships, 93%. Short skill programs, 60%. Certification, 78%. Artisans, 70%. Filling of post. We have been busy with filling of posts. Fortunately, on this one, I can give a detailed report because I was the previous HR manager for the institution. We have been busy with filling of posts since 2021, both on PPN posts and also natural attrition posts. We managed to fill most of the posts. The only posts that are left is the ones which have projected now. As an institution, if it was not for PPN, we had we were very understaffed, and most of the units were not fully fleshed in terms of resources. And like I've said, what I've flagged now is the only remaining post left. For level 9, we have one post, which is the one for the CFO, like I've explained. Level 10, we have 2. It is for an exam and ASD and also internal audit and risk. And then level 9, we have 6 vacant posts. Previously, we used to have 15 because in the institution previously, I think we were only 3 ASDs. Triple S, HR, and the financial manager. But now at least we have appointed quite a few other ASDs. So there is improvement in terms of filling of posts. PL3, we only have 1 post, and PL2, we have 6. PL1, we have 20.
Move towards conclusion is 9:56.
Okay, we have stalled with the appointment of academics because we first wanted to establish the new programs and also see which ones are we getting accreditation for, so that when we advertise posts, we advertise the correct posts so that we can appoint people that are needed immediately. The posts for level 7 downwards, due to the moratorium that was placed on all the PPN posts, we had to stop with the processes has already unfolded, but then unfortunately we had to stop after receiving the circular from the department. Some of the other posts, some of the submissions are still with the department, and some of the vacated posts we have drafted the adverts, and also we did a submission to OD, DDG. OD approved, but we are waiting for HR at head office to come back to us, because they will have to guide and advise us what is it that we need to further do, because apparently they need to do a submission so that we can get also approval from DPSA for the advert to be placed. And then our audit, we have received 3 findings in our audit report. The findings was commitments of registers not complete, commitments not valued appropriately, and the cause root of that was the college did not regularly review the commitments register. This was due to lack of capacity issues and have been addressed by making key appointments within the finance department. Actions that is being implemented to address those challenges. The college has updated the commitments register and confirmed that it is complete and accurate, and agrees to a contract register. The register is to be reviewed and monitored by the Deputy Principal Corporate Services and the Principal on a monthly basis. Amendments has been affected to the 2023 disclosure of commitment amount, and it will be presented to AG. The other finding was the student account with credit balances. The college did not split student accounts within the credit balances, specifically between the NSFAS credits and the credits due to students. This was due to an inadequate supervision review of students' account. The college steps to be taken, the college will re-perform the exercise of reviewing the students' account, which were reviewed last year, and the credit balances will be splitted between the college records based on who the credit is due to. Then the last one is the MI. There was an MI raised by AG in 2022. The issue in question, they wanted to verify if the documents was authentic, and they said there was a suspicion of a fraudulent suspicion. According to when AG described to us, they had a problem with the logo of that particular company, saying it seems as if the logo was moved or fiddled with. The matter was raised by AG in 2022, but again it reflected in 2023. As far as the college is concerned, we have responded to the AG, and the AG then requested the principal should do an investigation, of which the principal did, and they did respond to the AG in writing. We take it that the matter is still open because the AG never came back to give us an official outcome on the issue, and hence the issue is still reflecting on the report for 2023. The chairperson of the council made a follow-up because she was concerned when her term came to an end to get clarity from AG on the final outcome on the issue. AG then sent a letter to the chairperson 26 April and on the 26th of May to say they will let the 6th of May 2024 stipulating that they will give the chairperson, they will communicate to the chairperson should there be any new developments. We also reached out to the AG and we were supposed to have a meeting with Mr. Baloyi in September, and then he wrote us an email to say that he's going to be on leave, but he will send us a new date so that we can meet and settle this issue. Thank you, Chairperson. I know my time is...
Thank you very much. I afforded you about 7 more minutes. You can switch off so that we can I afforded you an opportunity to continue so that we can get a response around that matter. I hope, AG, you had a response from the, the college. And before I give members for questions, I'm going to ask you to respond to that part so that when they ask questions, we're clear. I'm going to give students if you can, one of you is going to present. They can, are you projecting your presentation? If you can come and project it from here so that it can appear. Who's coming to present? Labor also, prepare yourselves. You don't have it. You don't have the student presentation. It's leave your laptop. You'll use this one. The one on top there. The one you had open on top there. That thing was there on top. There's a folder you had opened there. If you can just open the folder you had opened, go to the folders. Yeah. I'll tell them my folder. Yeah, and what happened? What happened? The laptop. Yeah, thanks.
Maybe you can present some safety.
This thing was working. What happened? The problem. Students, thank you very much. Apologies for the technical challenges. It's 10:13. We're giving you 10 minutes to do your presentation till 10:25.
Greetings once again. As I said earlier on, my name is Sean Lavin and I am the president of Northern Cape Urban TVET. Our presentation will go, the topic of the presentation will be student affairs. The agenda on our presentation is state of students, challenges and recommendations. State of students, teaching and learning. Books are on time, contact sessions, lectures and classes are adequate. All lessons are of high quality. DHET calendar, all college programs are subject to DHET calendar year. Assessments. The continuous assessments are curriculum-based and proactive. Participation of the college in COSASCA. All registered students have the opportunity to participate in all COSASCA provincial and national events, which is voluntary to expose them to curricular activities. Higher health in all campuses. Higher health services are available to all students in our campuses. Examples are psychologists on all campuses, health services, psychosocial support, and all-round student wellness. Challenges that we face. Style of teaching. Students find it hard to understand the curriculum for certain modules. Lesson presentations. Lesson presentations should be provided to students after lectures or uploaded on to the college I-enabler to access anytime. Late payment of NSFAS allowances. Students are stranded. Landlords eviction. Students come to campuses without eating nor having transport money. Unsafe student accommodation. Students are forced to stay in dilapidating accommodations due to lack of accommodation close to the campuses. Students with special needs. A growing concern across the country is accommodating students with special needs and students living with disabilities. These students need to be prioritized within the TVET college. Imbalance between university and TVET students. A balance needs to be put in place between these two entities. In the sense of the funding, we need a balance between TVET and universities. As TVET students across South Africa are faced with more challenges during their studies, especially with receiving fair disbursements of funds across the board. Articulation of TVET students to university. The transition from TVET to university should be a seamless transition in the sense that a TVET student with an N6 certificate should not have to struggle when wanting to further their studies at university level. Policies need to be put in place for articulation and transition from the TVET sector to university. Partnership and international exchange programs. As TVET students, opportunities are not available to do exchange programs to other countries, to see what our counterparts are doing abroad and which teaching methods are used, etc. This should be afforded to best performing students. The recommendations that we have are that lesson presentations. Introduce more interactive lessons for maximum participation in class. Digitalization of lessons. Implement digital learning to optimize learning, e.g. upload lessons on YouTube, translations of lessons for better understanding of curriculum. More teaching aids. Implement new ways of learning, either visually or audio, to make learning more fun and interactive. Adequate academic support. The core business of any institution is to make sure each and every student performs to the best of their ability in their academics. Providing academic support is vital for students and the certification of the institution. provide peer-to-peer tutoring, continuous workshops for students, study plans, exam preparation, as well as study tips, student wellness. Continuous student wellness needs to take place across campuses. A healthy student population will be a great benefit for academics. Fully accredited student accommodation. We believe if accredited accommodation is put in place, the unrest of allowances will subside, as students will then have a sense of peace, especially with knowing their accommodation is secured and not subject to whether allowances are disbursed. Inclusive education. Education is the key to economic freedom, and by having inclusive education, we'll be paving the way for all young South Africans. It should include students from different backgrounds, students living with disabilities, the LGBTQ plus community, all races, and fair treatment to all students. More practical component and exposure to the industry for NCV programs. Introduce work-integrated learning for NCV programs for exiting students, which will mimic the NATED exit strategy. Industry exposure to the industry, especially for NCV. Examples would be safety in society should engage in subs, security companies, etc. Academic calendar to be aligned with NSFAS disbursement. NSFAS disbursements to start as soon as the academic calendar starts and not 2 months within the academic calendar, and should close when academic calendar closes, as students are still writing final exams when final disbursements are made. Include a final disbursement end of November to be in line with the DHEAD and college calendar. Lesson presentations. Lesson presentations should be provided to students after lecturers or upload on the college iEnabler to access anytime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President. SG, you don't want to add anything?
I'll answer when the questions come, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. Because thank you. We have a policy that we can ask the department to fly you to Cape Town with the college, and then you leave without saying anything. I believe that will be a fruitless expenditure. Workers, no, that's fine. Lecture workers, you have 10 minutes. I see your presentation is quite lengthy. I might borrow you from the minutes that the students left. Please continue with your presentation.
Right, thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Right to go into our presentation. The recognized unions in our institution, it's NEHAU, PSA, SATU, SAU, and NAPTOSA. And these unions, they form part of your labor forum committee. And just to give a brief, introduction, the Labour Collective has had numerous frustrations in addressing matters that affect staff and students in this institution. And the frustrations actually led to a number of strikes that involved both staff and students, particularly towards the end of 2018 and the first term of 2019. The whole of the first term, there was a total shutdown. There was no teaching and learning because of the issues that emanated. And the first strike actually emanated when it was less than 3 weeks when Mr. Brian Thompson Madalani assumed the principal's office. And then from that point onwards, it was downhill. To the extent that if I had the powers to challenge this particular committee, I would say actually go back and look at some of the challenges, including one of the main concerns is the recruitment of staff from Free State that we normally call the Free State Brigade. The Madalani problem in the institution we have has become a deeply rooted effect currently, and there's deterioration in all senses and levels. The public is fooled by aesthetics, but the college is rotten inside. So now we have all these pavings and the fences and whatnot, but all of these things, it's just to hide the rot that is inside. And to give a glimpse of the rot, you need to look at the number of staff that I said that is hired from Free State, especially in key academic positions. And the nepotism that is happening right in front of everyone, and not even council is questioning these things. In fact, they are party to some of these things. And state of affairs, when it comes to consecutive term of office, we have noted with concern that certain members of the council have served already about 3 terms and so on. And now this concerns us because of now they become subjective to whatever that is happening. And decisions that are being taken, they are poor decisions because they are not taking the college anywhere. And we know the role of council is governance. Currently, council is currently not fully fledged, as the chairperson has indicated. And we have also, noted to say that the minister's appointees are there. The specialists, the advert was only out recently, and the closing date was the 30th of September. No staff representation and no student representation is on that council. But this particular council is sitting and taking decisions. How does that happen? And then council does not have an outside or independent assessor or verifier. So whatever that they are told or reported to, they take it as is, and we cannot have that situation. They are not in touch with what is happening. Management in council does not have not been transparent for quite a number of years by not making, for instance, the annual report. May I also point it out that I was made aware last night that there is actually an annual report, but it is of 2022 on the college website, and it's the first time that I see it. The last time I saw it was in 2018. And then as to the general repairs that have been reported, the repairs on the roofing, the fence, and so on, there are, amounts that were attached. For instance, the fence of Patsimang was 6.1 million, and so on. Now, our question is that so much money is spent on infrastructure and the fence and so many other things, but what about academics? And I'm looking at the SRC presentation that speaks to lessons should be uploaded and all of these other things. How are we going to do that if I was borrowing SRC, my personal laptop? That says a lot. Moving on to the hostels, a budget of 5 million rand, was spent on 2 blocks, I think, just to correct that. It was spent on 2 blocks. The tender was awarded, but the renovations did not continue. Now, this is a direct impact on registrations and retaining the students because they are living in unconducive conditions. And most of them have faced, situations where they are evicted, and the worst case scenario was attempted sexual assaults where landlords actually ask for sexual favors in return of staying. And these things are happening, but they are not being spoken about. And when students do not have accommodation, they deregister. And it's a challenge. Some cannot even finish their courses. It speaks to the certification rate. There are 2 hostels in the NCU. There's the Elliott House Hostel, which is currently not habited, and then there's the Patsimang hostels. It's also not habited. And the hostel that I was speaking to, that 5 million was spent, is in Patsimang, but there's currently no one staying there. But only 2 blocks out of the approximately 7 blocks, if I'm not mistaken, that are there. And this has been happening for quite a number of years, 3 to 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, that nobody's staying at these hostels, and it's quite a problem for students as well. Moving on, the generators that were also part of infrastructure development that has been happening. In the 2022 meeting on the 22nd of May, questions from the then portfolio committee arised to say that why do you need to spend money on generators when Northern Cape is blessed with the sun? Why not install solar panels instead of installing generators. And if you look at the amount of those generators, it's quite ridiculous. In the previous meeting, it states that one generator is about 1.6 million rands, and it's for 3 campuses that these generators are supposed to be installed. What about the other things that are much more important? The core function of the college, which is education, which is academics. But these things, they are not happening. And currently now, these generators, they are literally elephants, white elephants, because they are not being used. That is now apart from the fact that we have had over 200 days without load shedding. But now, because the solar panels that were installed after the generators, there is no logic in that other than wasteful expenditure. So why not install the panels and then leave out the generators and use that money for something else? And then the entrance that the acting principal referred to, the amount that was noted was 12.5 million in the 2022 portfolio committee meeting. And to date, it's now close to a year that this construction is happening. From what you can see is that there were walls that were constructed, they were broken down. Surely I want to believe that this speaks to a more wasteful expenditure that is currently happening in the institution. And I mean, the reason that was given for this particular thing is that the campuses are in the middle of the location and there are strikes. But how does this help in the institution in any way? It does not make sense. It does not speak to the development of the institution. I think that one of the contractor abandoning the site, management has quite a few answers as to what actually happened to that. And this entrance that is being reported, it was also reported that there is a plan to have this entrance in all 3 campuses. So that will be over 12 million times 3. I just want to bring that to the attention of the portfolio committee. And then moving on, we have water tankers that have been reported, and only 2 water tankers were budgeted for and reported about in the 2022 May meeting. However, there are 2 more tanks that were constructed in Patsimang, and they are not being mentioned. And one tank was at a cost of 4.5 million. So it's 4.5 million times 2 in Patsimang, 4.5 million times 1 in Moremogolo, and then another 4.5 million in city campus. And bear in mind, in as much as the Moremogolo water tank is in construction, the city campus is completed. As to, is it working or not? I don't know. But I can confirm the one that in Patsimang, it is not working, because constantly when it's been tested, it leaks water. And this has been happening for the past 6 months or so. So it's not working. This also speaks to wasteful expenditure. And also bear in mind, portfolio committee members, that there are JoJo tanks that have been installed a while back in all sites of the college, including the central office, where the executive is based and other administrators. And then when it comes to acting post, I was quite jealous when the Honorable Chairperson mentioned the Holyhood thing, because it's actually what I was going to bring to your attention. I also want to bring to your attention that these posts, that the acting and the acting and the acting, there's far much more acting posts that are there. And I can make an example with my campus. We currently have 3 acting seniors. And these acting seniors, they are now completing 2 years. Before them, there were other seniors that were acting for 2 years. Before them, the other 2 years, they were also acting seniors. So it means that it's for the past 6 years that we have acting seniors, and there are no acting seniors that are being appointed. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Now, the one concern that we also have is that there is an acting policy. And in the acting policy, in order for you to act in a higher position, you must have had served 2 years in that particular post. Now we have, for instance, a very shocking acting position that we have. I'll start at the top. We have the acting principal. The acting principal hardly has probably 3-4 months in her position as DPI, Deputy Principal for Innovations, but she's acting principal. So that also speaks volume. We also have the acting CFO. Also, you need to question as to how long has she been in her position before she can act as a CFO. The one thing that we also want to bring to the attention is that the time that it was the farewell of the CEO when he was leaving, it was also the farewell of the Triple S manager. So both of them resigned, they left, right? Now, there is not being mentioned that the Triple S manager, there is also a vacancy there. I don't know, is it because of a certain campus manager is acting in that position? I don't know, maybe they are not speaking to that, but the portfolio committee should just note that. And then, when it comes to policies, this speaks to the previous meeting that the CGE also noted that some policies, they are not implemented, and those policies, they are there. They are not being implemented. And I remember the Honorable Chairperson mentioned in that meeting that why are these policies not implemented? And in fact, in those minutes, it was also reported that the CGE wanted to take the college to court for these policies that were not implemented. And at that time, on the 22nd of May 2022, it was 18 months earlier that these policies were not implemented. And now we are in 2024. Are these policies implemented? I personally do not know of any of these policies. And then when it comes to committees, a brief background. Committees used to exist when we had an acting principal, Dr. Mashele. There were a lot of committees because he said the college cannot operate without policies. But these committees, when Mr. Madalani came in as principal, these committees died a natural death. The reason that was given is that staff do not attend these meetings, and it is not true. Go back and investigate as to what happened. These committees were killed by Mr. Brian Tamsana Madalani. And then we have important committees such as the Occupational Health and Safety. You have the Training Committee, which talks about staff development. And these committees, they are not sitting, they are not in place. So those are also red flags. And then moving on, challenges of the workers. When it comes to disabilities, it was reported that there is work in progress in 2022 when it comes to disabilities, whether it comes to advertising posts for the disabled, whether it comes to students that are registering. The work that has been done, there's very little work when it comes to addressing issues of disabilities. And then interview invitations. We have been fighting a lot in the labor forum about the interviews, and it's quite a burning issue. Management keeps on saying that they do invite unions to these interviews, but it is not true. They keep on saying that they will provide evidence that they have invited unions, but there is no evidence that is forthcoming. And we are still challenging management of this institution to bring that proof for all this number of years that we have invited you guys to the unions. And the recruitment process. Management acts oblivious to the recruitment process by inviting unions to the interview day. And that is not how the recruitment process works. Someone who knows the HR processes will tell you that it starts with shortlisting, and then you go to sending invitations, then you go to the actual day of the invitations, and so on. There has never been any union that has been invited to shortlisting. There's never been any minutes that have been, presented that speaks to this is the recruitment process that is happening. And if you note that from 2019, the recruitment process of this institution becomes a secret to the extent that interviews are even held on Saturdays and Sundays. And then we have designed posts. We are very much aware that there are posts that are designed for certain individuals in the institution. So if someone is acting in a position, they will design this post, advertise it so that it suits you. And then there are cases where some of the people that are invited to the interview, they did not even apply for those interviews. In our language, in Kimberley, we say that okapabatu, meaning that you are just accompanying these people so that they go through, so that these proceedings are recorded to say that this was the best candidate. I mean, how do you take someone who is a facilitator of what is this? It's not woodwork. What is it called? To come to an interviews for a position of safety in society. That does not make sense. Moving on, like I said, the CGE must come in and hold the college accountable. That particular sentence that is inverted commas, these are your words, Honorable Chairperson, that CGE noted NCU lacked policies on employment wellness, succession, staff retention, retirement planning, promotion and remuneration, breastfeeding, flexi time, work-life balance. Right, and this was the question that you asked, Honorable Chairperson, from the previous meeting, and that question still remains. Are these policies implemented? And then, challenges that are still faced, outstanding benefits. There are still lecturers that are waiting for their qualification improvement benefits. You still have salary adjustment issues. There are general assistants that were called in 2021 because when you have more than 15 years in the employ, there needs to be an adjustment in your salary, and it is part of the resolutions. But to date, since 2021, nothing has come forth of this. And these workers have been approaching the HR manager to say that what is happening. And I'm also glad, Honorable Chairperson, that we needed clarity on who is who. So now it's the then HR manager, Mrs. Elgin Mokokong. And then we have your REQV 13 issued. These are lecturers that were hired in 2022. They moved from college payroll to Persang. But their salaries have not been adjusted because they are on NQF level 7. But their salaries still reflect that they are on RQV 13. And it's been quite a while that this matter has been coming on. They received tickets, but nothing is happening. And again, they were called by the HR manager to say that this matter is being attended to. But till to date, nothing is happening. And this issue is from 2022. And then you still have the 37 outstanding benefits. And this matter was referred to a historical issue from the previous meeting that it was discussed. Chairperson, I keep on going back to the previous meeting to indicate and reflect that many of these issues were touched on in 2022, but many of these issues, if not all, have not been addressed, and it is still an issue. It must be noted that the management reported that they were paid the money, albeit there were those that were not satisfied with the outcome. And rightfully so, they were not satisfied with the outcome. Imagine you are being owed for about 3 years or so, and you get a 4,000 rands in your bank account, whilst you are being owed quite a lot of money, because some of those monies go up to 100,000 and so on. So you will not be happy, and no one is coming forth to explain why is this issue happening. And then IQMS, there are staff members that have lodged grievances with regards to IQMS, so that their notches can be adjusted. And this issue has been happening for quite some time. And the HR manager then was made aware, but still nothing is happening. And that is why they have lodged grievances. They have submitted grievances to the institution. They've even submitted grievances to their respective unions, because this matter has been dragging on for quite some time. And then part-time classes, the working class, particularly pre-2019, they had the opportunity to redress their past by studying part-time. Sorry, there are just a few typing errors there, at the Northern Cape Urban TVET. Now, these classes were abruptly ended. And this is the reason why we had the first strike in 2019 when Mr. Madalani came in. Hardly 3 weeks in office, there was a strike. And it was particularly because of this matter. That unilaterally, he wrote an article on a local newspaper, the DFA, to say that we are cancelling these classes. Now, to us, it speaks to the certification rate that was high at the time. It speaks to your low-income workers that had the opportunity to go and study after knocking off at work to improve, their education, to improve their socio-economic status. And this year, there was an all of a sudden exam indaba by the principal, and he even knows that I questioned the timing of this indaba, because why call an indaba? You were here for the past 5 years, but you never called an exam indaba to address some of these issues that are happening in this institution in terms of why are results so poor. And he reiterated vehemently so that these classes will never happen. It says a lot. And then you have qualifications of staff. Management has also indicated that the staff that they have hired now, they are qualified. And as the Labour Forum, we still challenge them to say that, come forth, show us these qualifications and experience of this staff that you have hired. Because previously, you said that you ended contracts of people that were not adequately qualified. And then you have the PPM. Sorry, okay. And then you have, can we go to, and then there's also victimization that we are suffering. Recommendations. Can I go to the very last important recommendation? That is the last one. As a labor collective, we iterate what we said during the turmoil of early 2019, and we still stand firm by it because we have a DHET and a Madalani problem, because these issues are not being addressed. And the most important recommendation is that the Northern Cape Urban TVET must be put under administration and a thorough forensic audit be done by all the relevant agencies and the organs of state. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Because you are representing four unions, I decided I've given you actually 22 minutes instead of 10. Just switch off the mic and not the computer. No, thank you very much. Before I note members, NSFAS, the student leadership say you don't give them their allowances on time. You don't pay their accommodation on time, and as a result, they are forced to stay in residences that are not well. Please respond. In fact, I saw the SG nodding when the leader from the workers said some of them, because they can't afford to pay accommodation, some accommodation providers exploit them for sexual favors because you are not paying. Can you please respond specifically to what is the problem with you paying these accommodation providers and allowances to the students before we ask members to ask questions? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So Northern Cape Urban is not on the NSFAS pilot. Therefore, it then remains the responsibility of the student to pay the landlord where they are staying. So they are not on the pilot, so the money for the allowance then goes to the student and not the accredited provider. So that's the status quo currently on accommodation. And then as far as the payments of allowances, I think we are all aware that we are obviously dependent on getting certain information from the college. There are sometimes delays due to the fact that campuses feed their information to the central office, and the college does not have bursary officials at each and every campus. So sometimes there are delays to get the information through to the central office, where the central office is the one that uploads then to NSFAS. We currently have rate received for 3,513 students. These are numbers as at the last payment, which was in September. And we've disbursed to 3,319 out of the 3,513 students. So total disbursements as we speak to the college totals 103 million 723,318. Then there's a small percentage of students that are excluded from payments from the reg that's received, and they fall into different categories. So it's about 94 students where we've received reg, but that reg did not pass validations, meaning then it can't be paid. So it's the total of 94 students, where 64 of them, the discrepancy has to do with them being exceeding N+1, something to do with the qualification that was loaded and the level. and then 12 of them, they have been found to have exceeded the threshold. So this one is something that the executive administrator at NSFAS was even addressing at the FAPSA conference we were at yesterday, that there is a cohort of students due to our system inefficiencies and so on that were initially given a funded status but then found to not qualify at a later stage. And because what we are governed by says the minute we are aware that students don't qualify, we then can't turn a blind eye against that. So this affects 12 students at Northern Cape Urban, and he did then articulate the fact that there are certain like proposals and so on that the organization is looking at in terms of how best to address this. But these students currently are blocked from receiving allowances due to the exceeding threshold. And then lastly, there is a cohort of about 9 where we've received duplicate registration, meaning registration from more than one college for the same student, same academic year, and obviously then it would not be, it's fruitless to pay for one student at 2 separate institutions, and the process there is where the student then has to confirm at which one they actually are. So, and these numbers, in terms of exclusions or so on, the exceptions, these are shared with institutions. They would have been shared, they are shared with NC Urban as well, for them to be aware that these students, and total of 94, are then those that fall into the category that we can't pay, although reg has been loaded. I think I'll stop there for now, Chair. Thanks.
Yeah. So you are saying to us that NSFAS does not understand if students say they've not received their allowances because you have paid the 3,200 or so, 3,300 that you have received their accreditation. It's fine. AG, Northern Cape TVET says on your note, your AG note to them, or AG notes to them about even opening a case with the Hawks. They don't understand what you are doing there because according to them, they've responded to yourselves. There's no fraud, so your suspicion on fraud doesn't make sense. All they know is that everything else is above board because even what you are alleging on fraud of a logo and all of that doesn't make sense. Can you please take us through? Because I know there's a case that you had opened, the fraud case. Because of that, you've heard them what they say about material irregularities. You've heard them what they say about them responding to yourselves. What is your issue there, AG?
Thank you so much, Chair. Maybe let me start off by saying, before I directly maybe respond to the question on the material irregularity, I think from an AG's perspective, Chair, I must put it on record and be clear that we are deeply concerned about Northern Cape TVET College. And the reasons are, I'll start from an audit perspective as well and just reflect on the experience that our audit team had in auditing this particular TVET college. I think one of the key things that really from an office perspective that drives an effective audit process for us is the cooperation from management. And I think it's rather unfortunate that today in the presentation that is made to the committee, the statements rather are not factual. Let me put it in that regard. And I'll speak directly to the material irregularity. I think the first statement that I would want to clarify and make clear is the fact that when we issued the material irregularity to the college, there is no response that was provided. The second part, management reflected on the fact that there was an investigation report that was made available. We are not aware of that investigation report. I think that we should make clear. I think the part that I also want to then just reflect on, and the fact that with this material irregularity, Chair, and I think it's a conversation we've been having as well with the committee members for the past few days, is that with this college is an area where we literally had to use our expanded mandate. And that meant that with this college, when we issued the material irregularity, we had to go open the case and refer the matter to the Director for Priority Crime Investigation, because there was no cooperation from the college. There was no response. There was no feedback that was given to us. We tried to reach out, and one of the key things that I want to highlight for us is that with the audit process, if we don't get cooperation from management, it is rather difficult, and it does pose a limitation on us to effectively execute on our responsibility, and that has been the case with the TVET College. And I think from our side, as the AGSA, we've tried our part to reach out to management to ensure that they at least cooperate with us during the process. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And that then resulted in us having to escalate and refer the matter to the Directorate for Crime Investigation, because even the material irregularity that we spoke to, it's on suspected fraud. And it speaks to some of the issues that were spoken to in the presentation, because there's significant internal control deficiencies within this college. From a finance perspective, the irregularities that we reported affect invoices and quotations that seem to be fraudulently or tampered with. And again, it speaks to what is then going on the ground in terms of financial discipline. So there is a lack of financial discipline within the college that we're concerned about. And it also then speaks to the audit opinion as well, because those speak to breakdown in internal controls within the institution itself. And I think also as well, what I'd want to touch on is that as we do the audit, we don't only just reflect on the financial discipline within the institution, we reflect on the leadership. We were speaking about issues of vacancies and capacity. I mean, for any institution to survive, one needs to have an institution that is well-led and is governed properly. And I think the governance area as well, not speaking to the presentations, but from a governance perspective, it's important that the council itself is effective, so that there is accountability within the institution. So maybe, Chair, I'll leave it there, and then maybe just allow if there's any follow-up or if there's clear timelines that we want to speak to in terms of the MI. But I think those are the two facts that I just wanted to clarify and put on record. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, AG. Members, you've heard for yourself. I'll start with you, Honorable Shukwambana. I'll follow with Honorable van der Waalt, Honorable Maseko, Honorable Khabo, Honorable Low, and if there are issues that you have not covered me on, I'll come at last. Honorable Shukwambana is 10:55.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And let me take this opportunity to welcome the presentation from the Labour perspective and from also the students' side. But I deliberately do not want to welcome the presentation of the management itself. First, we are speaking of an issue here, Honorable Khabu, where the management itself responded very late and not affording us as members of a portfolio committee enough time to go through their report so that we are able to come and interrogate it and participate fully and make sure that we carry our responsibilities as members of the portfolio committee to do our oversight work properly. And that speaks to the governance problems that you also mentioned as Chair, that even yourself, this invitation, it really came late to your attention. It's actually a serious problem within. And that even the AG now just indicated that there's a serious governance problem in this college. There's serious governance problem, and as the Parliament, I think actions must be seriously taken, and we need to zoom into this college, because not only finances of the college are being misused, but also even the people who are having responsibility to run the institution itself, they don't or they seem not to know what they are doing, or I don't know if it's deliberate. So, but my few questions that I want to make on the material irregularities. It is actually noted by the AG that there are fraud submitted tender, whatever it may be, to the procurement process. I mean to be processed in terms of what needs to be done, what needs to be supplied, whether goods or services within the institution. And it was noted, and now we are having a situation where the institution says no, but we don't know why the AG says this, because of the reasons that they've provided. And the AG comes and tells us that, but there's no compliance. Then there was never any compliance from the institution itself. But this institution, they've also indicated to us that they do not respect even the Chapter 9 institutions itself. Because you can't come and lie openly, you come in Parliament and lie in Parliament. Just lie like that. And we must take you serious and say our kids in Northern Cape are well taken care of in terms of providing skills development and education to our people, and also protecting the finances of the taxpayers, because you have been given money by the very same Parliament which you come and lie, and even openly says the AG, they are not telling the truth in all. But let's prove it. My question is this: 2019-2020, you received a qualified audit opinion. And then we go to 2020-2021, unqualified. 2021-2022, unqualified. 22-23, unqualified, and 23-24, unqualified. What happened from 2019? You received qualified audit opinion, but in the next 3 years to come, it's all unqualified. What happened? It doesn't really speak to the same things that the AG they've raised, to say there's serious financial mismanagement within the institution itself. So can I at least get any explanation to say what happened? There was change of officials in your finance department, or what, from 2019 up until to date? Because I believe that if I do something good now, and I'm being qualified now, and then I unqualified in terms of the audit opinion. So what really happened? Can I get an explanation there, and let's take our people into confidence? The other issue that I want to raise, Chair, is on the issue of students. I'll go to the students now quickly. The students, they've raised a number of issues. And one of the issues that the students raise is the issue of NSFAS, of course, which they've just tried to explain to us. But the problem with NSFAS, Chair, is that NSFAS create problems for themselves. And after creating problems for themselves, and want to come and blame the students when issues are not turning out to be fine. For example, they've said to me, we are funding you, Mandla, you qualify for a funding, right? And then 2 months down the line or 3 months down the line, NSFAS comes back and says to me, you are no longer funded. What makes them think that I'm funded at the first place? It doesn't matter to say maybe I've N+1 rule or N+2 rule, or the court, or whatever reasons that you may provide. But at the first place, you said to Mandla, you qualify to be funded by NSFAS. And come later and says to Mandla, you are no longer qualifying to be funded by NSFAS. You are creating problems for yourself, and you are also creating problems for these students in the institutions. And March also, that's why there's always the strikes and the burning of the campuses, because of this issue, because students will not understand. They will always question why at the first place you said, I qualify to be funded. Can we at least also, as the entity there, try to avoid those things in the near future, because we are creating confusion and problems for our students. But let me also come to the management itself. As I conclude, Chair, I wanted to be very short. So, okay, let me understand for your 2025 academic year, which we are going to now. We are almost done with 2024. You have actually said the application process online is open, which is also, you are saying you are extending it to at least late November, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so are you going to allow the late applications to take place? And then the other issue which I want to know is the issue of what exact number does, I mean, the intake or the enrollment of your own campus or all campuses, what exactly are you taking per year? The exact number of the students that you are accepting per year, the exact number of that. And how many so far from the application process, if you have got information? I understand sometimes it's the external company that is running the online application processes. Maybe they have not submitted the information yet, but if you do have that information, how many so far have you received in terms of the applications? And then the issue of the walk-ins. We're going to have walk-ins January. How are you going to deal with the issues of walk-ins to make sure that the students are assisted? The registration fees. How are you going to deal with the students who fully qualify to enroll in your institution and they've showed interest that they want to enroll with your institution and they do not have the registration fee? How are you dealing with such issues in terms of assisting students to make sure that they get to register? Labor, I conclude, Chair. You see, there's a serious problem here, but I want to check from the management. Is labor part of your council? And if not, why is labor not part of your council? Because my understanding is that to avoid many things here, at least you must invite labor. Labor must sit in council. In council, we must have student representative, we must have labor, we must have all stakeholders of the institution represented in council. So I want to check if you do have labor in your council, and then if not, why? And then if you provide that reason, maybe you can develop a policy that will actually allow labor to also form part of your council as we move. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Honorable Van der Walt, I must help you with time. You have pressing issues of time yourself. So I'm helping you.
Chair, thank you for the opportunity. I'll be very brief as usual. So I just want to say something to the college, and that is, first of all, I have to emphasize what the chairperson said about submitting documents to a portfolio committee in Parliament on time. Because, you know, you make it very difficult if you're disrespectful to a government or a department which subsidizes you or give you a large amount of your budget. I had a minister many moons ago, Chair, who actually said to me, what do you want me to do with this specific entity? You want me to stop their funding? I said, yes, that would teach them a good lesson. The problem is here. We are sitting with a very high unemployment, especially amongst our youth. We need to skill people and train them, so we can't just stop it. And I don't think that must be a carrot in front of the noses of those that fund you. But Chairperson, another concern is that we expect of every single entity or department that appears before the committee to actually submit their financial statements. And we didn't get it. So I would urge the Chair to demand we get it ASAP, because it's disrespectful. It's absolutely disrespectful, and when we come here, we actually don't pitch for tea and coffee. We actually need to apply our minds before we get there, and I take a dim view of that, Chairperson. But Chair, in general, I'm not going to speak about NSFAS. We're dealing with NSFAS from time to time. But I'm very concerned when Labour said a full quarter, there was no class. And Northern Cape is a very vast province with a low population and a very much lower than other provinces job opportunities and therefore to create employment. So I cannot believe that for whatever happens in an institution, your right, my right might be to strike, no problem. But my right cannot infringe on somebody else's right to study or to be skilled. And there must be a balance about it, whether it's labor, whether it's the students, whether it's the department or whoever. You cannot infringe on somebody else's right to education and jobs. You cannot do it. You do something else somewhere else and get your thing, your message clear. But don't infringe on somebody else's rights. It's not fair because you're contributing to unemployment, lack of skills transfer, etc. And Chair, with that I want to say also that, you know, let's say in previous years, we heard about bricklayers or carpenters and we thought it was a lower class of job. And we're actually now in a situation where we're encouraging people, because if you, in those years and even now, traveled in other countries, those are very high paid income bracket in society. So if you look at hairdressing, if I have a skill, I can work from my home and earn a living and contribute and be part of the economy of my whole community and try and look after my family, and I can expand, can get more staff, can open more branches. But the way, and that is needed in the Northern Cape, because the Northern Cape does not have, it was said here during a presentation, the same opportunities like the Gauteng or the Western Cape, whatever more urban areas. And I think we must really rather to focus on what is the duty of the college. What is our purpose? And forget about all this other stuff, because you cannot compromise that purpose. So, Chair, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to go in all the nitty-gritty, but I'm very adamant that we get, if need be, a proper investigation. I'm not sure if it will help, but that we get the financial status of this institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masad. It's 11:10.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. One thing maybe before I start is, please note that the actors, the Hollywood crew, there's no escape clause not to respond accordingly just because you are acting, one. And the language of being there, whether 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, you take over, you get remunerated for that position, you own everything that is happening there. To fix it, the language that you'll have to talk to us is whether you are fixing what you have identified wrong or you are continuing to implement what is wrong. That is the language or the conversation that we can have. Before I start with you, the NAFSAs, I'm just sitting here and listening to the 5 students that you mentioned at the end, saying that they are into higher learning institutions. And I tend to believe when I make an application as a student, I'm communicating directly with you. You can't pick up a phone and say, where are you registered for 5? That within 30 minutes, you'll be done to know where's that student to give you even the proof of registration. You just send the communication to a redundant TVET in the country to say that, send us information of where's this child. It doesn't make sense to me. You are contributing to the failure of this TVET for not being operational, and you also have to own it. Because from 3,000, you've been subtracting this one's, that, and it's your systems that are failing these kids, and you are also not saying what is it that you are going to do or that you are implementing to correct them. You only acknowledge that your systems are wrong, they're failing you. But what are you going to do for these students that are at the TVET now, that are counting on you to change their lives? You are not saying to us what is it that you are going to do. Please address that and do something with it. You have responsibility. You told those kids you are going to fund them. Period. Another thing, to listen also, Nafsas, to listen to the kids that have now to drop their panties to be accommodated while you are saying that we send the communication. It doesn't make sense to me. What are you saying to us? Again, comfortable people that are earning the salaries, that don't care about the students, that don't care about kids that come from the historically disadvantaged communities trying to change their lives by study. Please, can we take ownership as we are in those beautiful offices that you even change the furnitures yearly? Now the question to the Hollywood crew. I just want to find out. You do have the overspending in your budgets. And when you listen to labor, when you listen to the students, there are challenges. I'm not going to be specific because my common sense tells me that you know there are challenges. I don't even have to tell you what are the challenges. What did you overspend on? The grant for infrastructure, you didn't spend it. You returned it. But you do have the challenges of the infrastructure. The cost attached to whatever that you are trying to do in those buildings or whatever that you are doing, like the labor mentioned that your entrance costs to 12 million. State-of-the-art entrance, what is happening there? Do we have to be lifted when we get there to be flown to go to where we have to go within that institutions? It doesn't make sense. Those institutions are about the students, not about you. And the acting chair in the council, my other normal logic says there need to be representation from the labor, representation from the student, and I take it, I might be wrong, representation from the ministry that have to oversee, as the decisions are being made within these institutions, to hear what is it that is going to be implemented. Why the power to the official that you don't even have the power, you get the communication late? Where's the loophole in all this? Now, in conclusion, Chair, I'm not going to even address anything because this is it's a broken system. My suggestion is we have to make sure that we involve the SIU and then place this TVET into administration. That's all that I can say. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Khabo.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Thank you. You are far too kind today. Chair, I will also join the queue, not waste your time. But we need to be honest with ourselves. It's not only the material irregularities that gives us a problem, according to your report, Auditor General. The fact that also their report is not aligned with your prescripts or your description on how the report must be structured or your submission of annual financial statements, that should also be noted as an area of concern. But Chair, we continuously in your meetings, we are told that the other day, SITA said to us the problem is with the Auditor General. Today, TVET is telling us the Auditor General is more like an attention seeker. They don't know what is it that she's talking about. That's what we are hearing from most of your entities, Chair. Before I go straight to the questions that I want to present, I think most entities that you are dealing with, they seem not to be aware of what is their actual mandate. Sitting here listening to a TVET that is expected to broaden the skills base in the country, but is preoccupied with issues of your, your gate day in Padzimang, that is costing a department more than 12 million, to me does not really make sense when there are actually fundamental challenges facing students. Your student accommodation, your failure to provide the necessary security on the livelihoods of students, including your own employees. It's an area of concern. And to me, largely I want to agree with the honorable member that indeed we are yet again exposed to another syndicate, a group of criminals operating with their own subjective interest that has nothing to do with the interest of the country, of which is to address unemployment. And our approach and attitude should be informed by the attitude that we are also getting from the leadership of the TVET. And now from where I'm sitting, Honorable Zungu, here we don't have leadership here. There's a leadership crisis, and this, apart from further investigations, apart from criminal cases being opened, I also fully agree that in the process, this institution must be subjected to or be placed under administration. There's no leadership, both from all angles, including from the council. I'm sitting here asking myself as to how many members do we have in that council that are still there? How many members are returning from council? What is your meeting schedule? Can we also be given your attendance registers? Those are things that I'm requesting in writing, because clearly I'm not going to waste my time and energy unnecessarily. Your report tells me already that there is no structure. There's a leadership crisis here. So those are things that I'll be requesting from you. Chair, my area of interest is around the students. There is a challenge around student accommodation cutting across. And we always argue that the process of accreditation is always questionable. And to the university, I would want to get clarity as to who deals with the accreditation process. Can we also be provided with a process followed on the accreditation of all, as much as you'll be providing us with a list of all accredited student accommodation? Can we be provided with also as to who accredits and who follows, or which process has been followed? Chair, from where I'm sitting, part of irregular expenditure, it's NSFAS. We are moving towards the new academic year. We must begin to get closer to them. Ons moet nader kom. Laat ons kan beweeg. Yeah, I think my Afrikaans is getting better now. We need to get closer to NSFAS, chairs, and my worry that we can no longer postpone. It's worrisome that you get people coming into the meeting and not having any answer. It tells you that these people went into a meeting not having prepared themselves. I think all of us were dealing with different institutions. When we come knowing that we are dealing with NSFAS, we are going to focus on NSFAS. So generally the response that we've got for NSFAS, in fact, there's no response. They have just wasted our time, including their time, including government money, and that we need to look into that, Honorable Chair. Chair, I think we'll also have to request a list of, when we go to supply chain management, because the problem is there at supply chain management. You can tell that there is a serious and unholy relationship taking place. Can we get a list of all projects? And the progress must be clear. Don't tell us that is in progress. Define it in terms of percentage. Give us the financial implication as to how far are you. When was the contractor appointed? When is the project expected to be completed? And also provide as to whether there were adverts there. In terms of your supply chain management, I like this aspect. Do you have a policy? When was the policy reviewed? And also, as in when you are giving us those list of projects that are currently in place, can you also provide us with your supply chain management processes? Attach everything, your minutes, attendance registers. We want to prove to you that you think we are here to joke, or we are taken from the streets because of we've got nothing to do. Young people are living in hunger there. Chair, can we, on the issues of labor, can we request a list of all appointed senior managers? When were they appointed? Including those who are acting. When did they start acting? What is their actual role? For you to be acting here, where did you come from? For how long have you been there? For the new positions, the recent ones, can you also include your adverts, your panel outcomes, so that we understand which position was advertised and which one was not advertised? Including these ones who are acting, what is their role? When were they appointed? Do you have policies there? What are the list of policies do you have? How frequent do you review them? What is your policy on gender-based violence? What is your policy on security of students in particular? The issue of staff representation, I think it has been addressed. Chair, look, other things I'll submit them in writing. Because looking at the face of the management of this institution, I don't see any appetite to respond to our question, nor capacity to respond to our question. So I want to reaffirm our commitment and recommendation that this institution must be subjected under administration and fair investigation should be done. And in the process, Chair, we should also lobby very hard that their audit outcome or audit action plan that they have presented, their implementation is highly questionable in terms of how if I can flag, I'm going to expose, or we are only given that report in the morning, and also yourself as a presenter, you are not sure of the contents of the report that you are presenting. There is an aspect of the report that questions the process that was followed in terms of your appointment of contractors. And as a way of remedial, you are saying that you will begin to train your committees on the supply chain management. When the Auditor General is not raising issues around the committee, it's basically raising issues in the process, particularly aligned to the verification of documents that you are getting. So from one sitting, Chair, in summary, I think other things will submit them. I think the issues of your hostel projects that we don't understand what is happening there, and the nepotism that has been there, Chair, I think for now, we'll make written submissions to avoid wasting time. Thank you.
I thought you said you were going to be short.
I thought I was short.
You took 8 minutes. Honorable Low.
No, thanks very much, Chair. Let me not welcome the report of the college. It's not welcomeable because it seeks not to account and does not represent the challenges of the people of Northern Cape and more so the people of Galeshewe, because it is not an accurate and a correct report on what is transpiring at that institution. 1. 2, I don't know what happened to the student rep, but they will tell us. Their report also, I anticipated a much more provocative report, because if I can list number of issues of students of that college, will not end up having to catch our flights to join the important aspects of going to go back home. But I think we have noted, 1, there are significant challenges that has impacted the institution. 2, the AG's opinions, it underscores a serious concerns regarding the accuracy of financial statements. The moment there's a concern on the financial statements and compliance with the establishment accounting practices, then you must know there's no institution who have collapsed by that time. And we were sitting here, the presentation was presented in front of us, the AG was present, the AG said, no. There is no integration and complementary with our work that we are doing together with the school. Even if we are looking for certain documentation that seeks to give effect as to how should we financially behave, which seeks not to get such. And then it says to you there's a serious concern. So I would want to welcome the Labour presentation. It was much more of an accurate and honest presentation, because without the Labour, we would not have understood what are the issues as to what is happening. And I think, Chair, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to pose questions in a form of a term of reference as going forward to the administration and going to investigate to the SIU, because I am going to recommend with immediate effect, given the fact that there's nothing to be given to us as a portfolio committee, given the fact that the college cannot even tell us how are they going to deal with the audit action plan or remedial actions that they are disregarding of the AG. It's quite a serious problem, because if they disregard the AG, if they disregard the portfolio committee and still come and lie in front of us, I don't see us wasting our time in deliberating on issues. I'm going to go straight to the point. First and foremost, this college needs to be put into under administration with immediate effect, Chair. With immediate effect, Chair. Follow the procedures. We should write to the minister giving our reasons. Hence, I'm going to submit my written questions to the secretary, to submit it to the chair. Put it under administration, deal with all labor issues with immediate effect, and then we deal with the actings. I know for sure, I've been a student, I was once a student there. There's been historical employees of the institutions that hinders progress and that are part of the problem in the institution. So I'm calling upon this committee to call on for investigation, SIU, and put this college under administration and we're going to put our written submissions. What effect to the response, we'll formulate our terms of reference as to what's going to guide the college and the administration, because there's no use for us to engage about this college because there are a number of issues. If we must engage them, we'll jeopardize and mess up the approach to put this college under administration. So I'm recommending, Chair, with immediate effect, agreeing with my honorable members, there's no college, there is no leadership, there is serious issues of leadership there. There's nothing, we need to agree that this college needs to be reinforced, put an administration, put serious investigation, consequence management must happen, people must go to jail. For those who are not going to jail, others must be charged for gross misconduct. I think, Chair, there's nothing much to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Low. DDG, I have a few questions that I want you to answer me on. For clarity, one, let me get the name. When did Mr. Madalane leave the college to act as a regional manager? When? You can answer, DDG. I'm going to ask questions, but I need clarity. When?
Thank you, Chair. I think he left in 2022.
During the audit, Mr. Madalani was he the principal at the time? Was he in the institution or was he out already that time?
Which audit, Chair?
The audit that we are dealing with is the audit that was finished in 2023, which is the 2022 audit, isn't it?
Yes. No, he was already at the regional office.
So, AG, who was the accounting officer at the time at the institution when you were doing this investigation? Kaya?
Thanks, Chair. In terms of the accounting officer, when we came in, Mr. Matarana was the accounting officer, but then throughout the audit, you will get people who will step in and stand in for him. So when we were not sure, like at some point, you'll get an acting principal, but then at some point, Mr. Matarana was the principal. So he was there, but then from time to time, there will be someone stepping in, and then he'll be back, and then he'll sign certain things.
So when you send in direct questions for the accounting officer to respond, you are addressing them to him?
Yes.
And then you'll get the responses?
Some responses we'll get from him, and then from certain time, then they will say there's an acting principal, and the response we'll get from the acting principal.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Madaran, who was the CFO when this was happening?
Thank you, Chair. The CFO was Mr. Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs. And when did, is it during this period?
Correct, Chair.
And then, is it the Mr. Jacobs that we're told is in, according to your report, in Western Cape somewhere?
Correct, Chair.
When did he go there?
Not long ago, Chair. I think the 1st of September.
1st of September, this year?
Correct, Chair.
So what happened? Did he resign at NCO?
Chair, let's explain that he applied for another post at another college.
And then he resigned at NCO?
Yes.
Okay. No, thanks. You see, DDG, the department is not assisting us. Or maybe let me first address acting principal. To say to us there's only one vacant position at an institution, and our view saying that the institution is is Hollywood is wrong. It's actually wrong. You are the one who's wrong. Because we have acting principal. We have acting deputy principals. You have, I don't know if you have acting CFO. So to say no, there's only one vacancy, then you are missing the point. Where you are now, you are not working in your substantive position. You are acting somewhere. And in your substantive position, there's somebody, unless if you are saying to us, that particular somebody who's acting in your substantive position is not acting there, you are working there. Unless if that's what you are telling us. Then we'll say, Mr. Madalania is not acting in the regional office, he's the principal. So there's only one vacancy. So your understanding of us saying there's a lot of actings there is wrong. Yourself where you are acting. You know, department, you are also not assisting us, because why is the regional manager position not filled in over 2 years? Earlier this year, when we were dealing with the performance of departments, we had high percentages of vacant positions in our institution. And by the way, DDG, it can be true that we're waiting for positions to be approved. The previous financial year, we've returned 580 million, and your report said to us, it's because of vacancies. So what approvals are we waiting for when we have returned money? They were funded posts. It was posts that were funded, that we had every opportunity to fill, we did not fill. In over a year, 12 months, we've returned the money back to Treasury. So the department is not assisting us. You are not assisting us in telling us the truth that we had advertised. We wanted Honorable Low. Honorable Low performed badly in an interview. We did not want to recommend or to appoint Honorable van der Walt. Because we have returned 580 million back to Treasury on funded posts. So now you are applying in the new financial year, asking for Treasury to condone those funds. They're probably not, because you have demonstrated that you are unable to spend the funds that they've given you. The same example that I always say, that if these TVET colleges, you give them a lot of money on grants, go back and spend, many of them, then we complain. We complain that our money has been cut, the money of this college on infrastructures. What is Treasury supposed to do when we are unable to spend it? CET colleges here, 2 days back, on Wednesday, they were complaining that the total budget of the CET is 2% of the total budget of the TVET. I don't know, it's 2%. But they themselves, they failed to spend over 35 million. They are complaining about infrastructure. They could not spend it. They could not buy textbooks. Tomorrow when National Treasury says they're not giving them that money, it will be them complaining. It will be them complaining that you are cutting our money again. When you are unable to spend it, National Treasury has got absolutely no choice but to repurpose that money to those that they have shown capacity to spend it, but there's also the need. If you can't spend it, well, you don't have the need. I don't understand why we have not filled the position of a regional manager. Unless if you say to us, the regional manager is still undergoing disciplinary cases, but also for 2 years. So there must be a better explanation. If there's really no reason why you can't fill the regional manager, tell us. Because not filling that position then creates a problem. You know, that the ripple down effect of it is that you are unable to fill a position of the principal here, because if the principal, you know, is still employed here, so you can't fill it. So what is the situation there? It's like in basic education, when the district director is sick or on special leave, then you have what are those ones where usually where principals act there? No, not after the district director. We've got circuit managers and then and all of those things. And the principal is acting there, and there's a lot of problems from deputy principals, you know, HODs. It's everybody acting. So you not feeling this one creates a problem, because the principal can't be filled here, and there's a serious problem there, because there's vacancy. The acting principal now, we're told, has been acting for 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. There was somebody who was acting before. There was another one who probably, it's been 2 years, more than 2 years actually. If you look at around May 2022, June 2022, it's a long time. So department, you must assist us there with better answers. You see, acting principal, the reason why we bring in NSFAS here, we bring in AG, is that we don't want to be misled. An institution can't come here and tell us, we've responded to AG. It's not true. I was going through your annual report. AG can give, you know, your own annual report that you have signed, that the chairperson had signed. The annual report you are agreeing with, because you have accepted the annual what do you call it, the audit report. If you had not accepted it, it will not have been tabled. So the process is that, so everything that AG has said there, you have accepted it. Then you come here, you're contesting it. It's the wrong place to contest what you have agreed on. In order for the AG's report, DDG, to be on your annual report, is that they give you a chance, whether you are disputing it or not, they can re-audit, there's a process. And that's why we're saying it has not been tabled. We have a number of them in the sector that has not. There's one TVET, if I'm not mistaken, by the way, which has not tabled an annual an audit, their audit from AG, because they disputed it. There's one. So it's not on their annual report. They can't table their annual report here because there are disputes there. Yourself, there were no disputes. You can't come here. We're not a dispute mechanism for you to dispute AG's things. And you come here and say, no, DG, AG, what they are asking is not true. You can't do that. You have accepted all those. It's there on your annual report that is signed by the principal and the chair of council. Have signed, have accepted. For AG, we may not have agreed then, but we're agreeing now. That's what it means. You can't come here and tell us, no, we've responded to. In fact, I'm going to ask you, hand you over a longer rope to even hang yourselves. You must give us the conversations that you are saying you had with the AG, the responses that you said, including the dates, and I'm assuming they will be on email, because I don't want, because Lona, AG says there's manipulation of quotations. They must be on emails. You must just forward it. Just go to those emails, forward them. Want to check when were they sent. Because when AG says to you, I'm giving you 5 days to respond to these things. I'm giving you 10 days to respond to this. It's 10 days. If you respond after 15 days, you have not responded. So we want you to send us those things, reminding you that it's a chargeable criminal offense to lie and mislead Parliament. And we will exercise that. I think we must start exercising, being a little bit strict on this thing. We must start with this one. Yeah. Because it can be that these things are serious. When I opened the meeting, I told you our vision with TVET colleges is, it's massive. We want, we come from the Northern Cape, where there is a proven track record of diamonds. What do you call those? Diamonds, no? Yeah, diamonds in that part of the world. So when we are saying we want you to have industrialized, the Department of Science and Innovation have got a beautiful SKA, the Sky Kilometer Array in Northern Cape. Beautiful. Who, you see yourselves, you should be concentrating on dealing with data scientists who are going to collect that data that we are producing there. They've got a supercomputer that can send information from that part of the Northern Cape here in Cape Town in a matter of milliseconds. So when we're saying we want to have TVET colleges that are industrialized, we want to produce in the Northern Cape. What is that place there where they've got Carnival? Yeah, they've got very bad mosquitoes there. Those people. No, they traumatized me. Those mosquitoes, but extremely. We want to produce people from such a rural place in Carnival. The Department of Science and Innovation is putting resources in high schools there. In those high schools, the Science and Innovation paying teachers to teach robotics, to teach maths and science, out of a budget of Science and Innovation. Because we are saying you can't have such a beautiful thing here that communicates with the SKA in Manchester and the one in Brussels in a matter of seconds. Can control that thing when you are in Manchester. You can control the SKA that is in Manchester when you are there. So that's what we said there. We want children from there to also benefit. That is why Science and Innovation is paying teachers to produce better maths and science students from that area, so that it is them who also goes back and benefit out of that area. Now, it is in your province. Lona, you are producing people who can forge papers, quotations, forging quotations. That is why your gate is 12.5 million. You have spent 5 million rands. 5 million rands on accommodation, unoccupied. It's probably not even ready for students to stay in it. Because you can't even explain that 5 million. But that 5 million, somebody at supply chain signed on behalf of the college, or a job done. The CFO were told DDG. The CFO probably also signed there, paid these people, has left, is now given another responsibility in the same sector, we have a problem. We have a problem. So I'm not even going to speak about the generator. I spoke about them when we were there, by the way. I was part of the team that went there in 2022. I was a member of this committee. The council is new. The question that, in fact, I think if you can answer it quickly before I make my point. How many of the 5 that are new? The ministers appointed 5. Supposed to have appointed 5 ministerial employees there who are supposed to advertise. I'm told, I can't remember who was the labor person said you've advertised now in September. So out of the 5, how many of you are returning? 2 are returning. No, that's not the question. I've asked one question. So you have 2 members returning. Yeah. The problems we have here at DDG is, I want to gravitate towards what members are saying, that there's leadership crisis here. But the council has not. I hope what the Labour was saying is not true. That council has met and taken a decision on a number of things. The only meeting I assume could have happened, DG, was the meeting maybe where the team would have met so that they can advertise for the rest of the members. The rest of the 4 specialists, or is it 4 or 5 specialists that are supposed to be there. That's the only meeting that could have really, if there's anything, then including this new council, then there's a problem. But the problem here is a culture at that institution. There's a culture of bazongenzana. What can they do? There's that culture that DG. You see, AG says to you here, we struggle to get responses from yourself. We write to you and say there's a problem, and I agree with members. We're going to ask you, DDG, with your department, your branch, your department, and the ministry, that we institute a number of forensics there on a number of projects. On a number of projects, because clearly there's a culture there of wrongdoings. AG only picked up 1. It's probably more because AG does not audit everything at the time. You sample. So they found 1 on the sampled one. Probably the other ones that were not audited are all corrupted. 5 million more renovations. AG actually, if I were to read the notes that are there on your annual report, what AG says, many of the things, they are not market related. Ballooned principal, who's acting regional manager. Ballooned. It's there on the AG notes. So there's culture there that that institution buys a bottle of water of this size, 500 mils, probably 400 rands. And it's normal. It's normal, you know, the person who delivers water at this college, it's Tebogo, because they'll come and say 100 rand. But because we have a panel, we control who's on that. For who, if it's on the panel, maybe it's even Tebogos. All three companies are Tebogos. You manipulate the price. 100 rand, my Tebogo 2 says 110, Tebogo 3 says 150. But whatever happens, Tebogo, you are going to purchase a bottle of water there, 400 rand. And there is somebody who has done that day. On consequence, that's why I was saying we must institute forensic there, urgently. And that forensic report, we want it. We also want to know who in that supply chain agreed to pay water at that. And I'm making an example with water. Knowing about this 12 million gate. Hey, gate, it's now maybe fighter Shugomba. Maybe those gates they've got that lift that was lifting your CIC there at FNB. When you get there, that forklift takes you high. You know, maybe they've got that. Who knows?
Unfortunately, I don't know the price of that thing. And I know it was donated. It was donated.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to proceed on this thing. The annual report, colleagues, that's a public document. It's shocking that the workers are saying they are seeing it for the first time yesterday. That is a public document. You have not informed the TVET community of the work over there. It can be. That can be. Yeah, this CFO is the one who prepared the annual financial statements that were audited. The one that went. This is the one. Where he's working now is also a CFO. We're going to have a problem there. Yeah, no, they're going to tell us. We're going to have a problem there. Because, yeah, they've just transferred the problem. Because the annual financial statements there, according to AG notes, they are bad. They are saying, even myself, who's not anywhere in the field of finances, I could have written a better financial statements. They are saying those financial statements are bad. You have given them a transfer. And you know what they do, these people? When they get an offer or they attend an interview, DDG, and these things must stop. They come with a salary where they work. They say, I was comfortable in Kimberley, getting this much. If I'm to relocate to Western Cape, you match my salary, but you also give me this for relocation fees and all. So wherever they are, they're probably earning more. With having put our institution, principal signing a reference. You are a reference. You say, no, very good. They can't submit financial statements even on time. They don't make sense. They were not prepared in accordance with general recognized accounting practice and supported by complete accounting records as required by Section 25(1)(b) of the CTS. Misstatements of non-assets, expenditure, just bad. You have given that person in your sector, DDG, another position somewhere with a better salary. And you want us to to keep quiet. We're not going to do it. So we're not going we're going to give you DG to close. I'm not going to you college, you must write to us, must give us all these things. You must write to us all of these things. I mean, your presentation is even poorly done. You know, there's a slide there where you are saying your throughput rate target was 8%. Kuru, now what you want? 8%. That's your throughput rate. You go on, you said you have achieved it. 19%. Kurbanna, 19%. You know me, I went to school when it was still using symbol. It says about A, B, not 1, 2, 7. A, B, C. A, 19% nearly FF. Could not fail, but FF, I don't know why they used FF. Your presentation, honestly, you are saying on PLP, we don't even, you are not even writing to us what is PLP. You just write PLP there. We're supposed to know what is PLP. There's no note at the bottom that says PLP means this. There's no reason for you to do this. Campus manage. There's no reason for you to act, to do those things. Yeah, the reason why you are not even doing things right, you are talking when you are talking. That's the reason. You are writing there a PLP that you have achieved 42 over 140. And then the reason for you not to achieve, you say few could not meet the requirements. Few. Almost 100 did not meet those things. Few. And then what happened to the rest? We don't know. We must profit. Slice. You want us to do those things. Your presentation was actually poorly done. You know, registered student retention, target 75%. Retention, achieved 60%. So you have achieved 60%. The slide before that, you say the target on progression was 80%. And then you have achieved 100%. I don't know whether that makes sense to you. But if you say those who wrote, those who were registered, right, were 7, let me say 10, just to make maths easy. And out of 7, you wanted to retain 8, but 6 are retained, right? So out of 10, you have retained 6. But those who have progressed, it's 100%. So those who were in that school and they've passed and moved forward, because you have retained them from where? You have said you have achieved 100%. I don't know whether it makes sense, but to me it does not. We're going to write to the minister about what the committee is resolving on. We don't think there's leadership here. We believe we've actually wasted our time. We're just worried about the plight of those students. Some of them were told, and we're going to have that conversation proper with NSFAS, that we're told some of them are now forced to resort to doing people sexual favors for them to be retained in their accommodation. NSFAS, honestly speaking, we're going to have a problem with. In fact, we'll have a conversation with you on the side. I'm not going to say it here. We would like to thank you, students, for raising the issues, even though your presentation was closely showing that things are fine. I hope things are really fine there. In 2020, CGE issued a report about a number of things that the motherland of at your institution. And I hope those policies are there because some of them honestly speak to very serious problems here. If I can remind you about the report that was issued, that when we went there in the 6th Parliament, we told you about were findings that you yourself, you lack training and education on gender-based violence. It was as if people don't understand what is gender. It's a finding of CGE. Because it's new to you. You have this report and related and related topics. They had said you must consult with the department to compile the gender and race disaggregated data for remuneration of employees to adhere to the requirements of equal pay, work for equal value. We don't know whether those things are there. You must liaise with the department regarding allocation of resources to address transformation. There should be compliant, notwithstanding the national competency. Your college should ensure that your sexual harassment policy is reviewed and aligned with the code of good practice on handling sexual harassment cases in the workplace. Provide reasonable accommodation. Your college must offer subject for deaf and visually impaired students. You don't have those policies. The college should include representation of persons with disabilities in the top and senior management of the college. The college must introduce and improve all employment policies, including leave policy, campus security, HR policy, breastfeeding policy, and sexual harassment policy. The college should undertake a training and education drive to train all staff on GBV and related topics. And the commission wanted to be invited so that they can monitor. We have not done, there are too many, let me not leave. We have not done any of those things. When we say there's leadership problem, this is what we are telling about. So tomorrow there, a female employee will cry about sexual harassment, and you don't have a policy to charge anybody there who would have done wrong to that female. DDG, in closing, please help us.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Appreciate the engagements that we have had this morning, but also taking note of the matters that we have raised in relation to the running of the institution, but also broadly on the TVET sector as such. We appreciate the engagements and the inputs that we have received today. Noting, of course, the concerns that the esteemed committee has raised. Others relate to the institutional level, others relate to the department itself, as you've pointed out, Chair and honorable members, particularly around the issues of governance, the filling of vacancies for the personnel within the TVET colleges across. Indeed, we have had some delays in that, and we've alluded to the fact that some monies were even lost, which was in relation to the implementation of the PPN and the challenges that were experienced during that process. But those have been addressed. We hope that soon all of those vacant posts will be filled, working together with our colleagues from the corporate services to assist us in speeding up this process as they support a branch to the TVET and the other delivery branches within the department. We've noted the issues of non-compliance from the college side in relation to the submission and the response to the request from the Parliament as well as AG. It's a matter that we'll be addressing with the college council as well as the management. The issues, Chair, some I think will be responded to in writing, but in terms of the one question that I would like to respond to, why don't we have unions being represented within the council? The CET Act, Section 10, subsection 4, that describes the appointment of councils, as well as Section 10, subsection 6, does not include the representation of unions per se. But it's part of the review recommendations that have been put forward in comparison to the Higher Education Act, where you will even have the institutional forum. The CET Act does not provide or make provision for the IF within the TVET, which then allows for the broader participation of the other stakeholders. What is currently happening, Chair, is that unions participate at a college level where they nominate staff representatives, but those staff representatives are mainly union representatives that then sit in council as either support or academic staff representatives. They also sit in the academic board where they represent their constituencies. So I just wanted to clarify that in terms of the councils, the process is still unfolding. That's why you have interim councils and interim chairs. We are waiting for the finalization and appointment of the additional specialist members. Colleges have advertised. They are now busy making submissions for the concurrence with the minister. And once that process is finalized, we'll then have fully fledged councils. We welcome, Chair, the recommendations that there should be a thorough investigation that the college will have to undergo through, and we will wait for those processes to unfold. And I think we will also monitor the submission of the information as has been requested by this esteemed committee. Honourable Chair, honourable members, once more thank you for the opportunity that you've afforded us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DDG. You see, council chair or acting council chair, the accounting authority must take the blame here. And I'm glad it's you who's here because you were in the previous council. And I hope you are not part of who the Labour says when they say some of the council members are now doing third term or more than third term, which is another problem, DDG. How we are going to close this meeting, members? We are going to ask the department and the minister, we are going to write to her that she must put an independent assessor there at that institution. Because our view is that you need administration. But in order to get there, we need an independent assessor to assess the depth of the problem. And also get the independent assessor by the Higher Education Act on the other side is about 3 months. So we'll have to check with the CET Act if we have that part. But there's criminal behavior that must be stopped. So we also need forensic there to investigate supply chain malpractices that would have been there. And anybody who's found to have put their fingers and nails there, they must be cut. Department, you see, in 2022, your department was there with us, the branch, you were there with us. There's a report, the oversight report of the committee that was issued, and the department want to know in writing to tell us what have you done about the issues that were raised at that time as the department in strengthening problems that are there. And I just want to, in closing, to reiterate that in terms of Section 17, subsection 2 of the powers, privileges, and immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act, a person who willfully furnishes a house or a committee with information or makes a statement before it which is false or misleading commits an offense and is liable to a fine or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years. So we're hoping, even when you are going to write to us, these members have asked you questions. Some of them they are going to send to us, we are going to send to you. Go and respond to them truthfully. Because if you respond to any of them with lies or some of them are misleading, we're going to have a problem. We're going to act because the era of impunity, it's gone. If you think you're going to behave as if it's business as usual, you're going to have a problem here. DDG in writing, now in writing DDG, you're going to tell us, give us problems of why you are not filling funded posts. You have returned 580 million. Majority of them are from TVET colleges, according to the organogram that we saw from your department. Why are you not filling up those problems? Is there internal capacity in the department to conduct these interviews? Tell us, we will conduct them for you. See, these members, you don't have a problem. If you want to hire principals and you don't have, bring them, we'll interview them for you, and then we'll hire. You want to say something because I'm closing?
Yes, Honorable Chair, just for record, because you've made mention of the visit to this specific college. And I'm not sure if you are referring to the Northern Cape Urban or the Northern Cape Rural, because the last visit in 2022 was at the Northern Cape Rural, not Northern Cape Urban. So that we are clear on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You'll give us answers in writing. Colleagues, thank you very much. We had a very long week today. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, where we're dealing with a number of entities. We'll start in the morning at 9 a.m. when we're dealing with or are receiving presentation from the National Skills Fund on their annual report. Now I found money in my account. I didn't know it was for. So we're having a meeting with them. Colleagues, this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.